Speaking as an educator of all grades and ages over the last decades, and as a Florida and Tennessee certified instructor of the gifted, one driving belief I have is that everyone is gifted. And some may have packages they haven't yet opened or realized that are gifts. Every individual is filled with personal experiences, and many have some general idea or some specific goals that they want or that they need. Therefore, it's truly a joy for me to help students realize the value of their own experiences and their own voice in the context of effectively communicating their messages and their interactions. I believe I'm a rather holistic instructor who wants to know the stories of my students, and I feel blessed to be teaching a course that allows me to hear those. By knowing their stories, I've been able to connect students to resources and opportunities that they value or some that they really need. However, fear and presumptions can impact our satisfaction and success. Glossophobia, the fear of public speaking, is very real. And that fear is not the only barrier that many of my students face. I intentionally introduce students to the sometimes scary unknowns of social, academic, and digital environments. One of my personal quotes is that we cannot communicate if we can't navigate those environments. I impose social interactions so that my students explore and we can apply our skills. However, I use empathetic observation of the students' verbals and nonverbals expressions to know when they need to shift, when I need to shift certain individuals. I may see and regroup a student who needs to be assigned with another with whom they will interact, or from whom they may need a specific technical skill. I know when to quietly offer an after-class speech opportunity with one or two students and peers with them, and how to help that fearful student to expand their practices. One recent key example of the latter was a young woman who went from having her head down and crying for the first 2 days of class. She ultimately used our lessons, our safe environment, her building supportive peer feedback with those after-class speeches, and a final recognition that she could speak about things she loved. And she enthusiastically used technology and realia to show the entire class her demo craft topic, and later to persuade us to take action on a topic she was passionate about. Kind, helpful, and specific feedback is a key concept I model, facilitate, and demand from my students. I display a passion for timely and extensive, sometimes too extensive, more than you want to know, feedback to my students using email, our written work, sometimes texting certain students, audio feedback, and video feedback. This digital communication, and on our speech rubrics, I write pretty extensive comments as well. I praise, encourage students to give me feedback so that I can improve my own communication or fix something in momentum. I've observed that students may often begin using general praise, but they can grow in their recognition of effective communication and less effective elements so that they can offer specific praise and critique. Critique and praise is a valuable life and career skill. One quote from my mother that I share with my students and put on our course outline, that daily calendar of events with links and videos, is know what you want and know how to ask for it. On the course outline, I also add my personal follow-up sentence, know who to ask. I believe and design activities for engagement. It's my great pleasure to connect students to people and assets that support the students' move towards personal and professional goals. Our guest speakers, such as our librarian visit for the informative speech sources and library navigation, as well as our institutional or community leader who rides the elevators with students who are pitching a chosen message, that all enhances our learning. Getting out or digitally exploring for our asynchronous or online classes is to do what I call breaking the seal. with our tour of the Learning Center and practicing essential soft skills as we tour the Cumberland Business Incubator, it further raises our engagement and promotes our learning. Using small, iterative academic requirements, collaborative support, and assigned individual reflection, I believe we enhance our communication. In what I call a low stakes and supportive classroom environment, I model and I set up systems for students to apply practices of conversation, problem solving, academic communication, and use of institutional and external resources. For example, I emphasize all the institutional helpers listed on our syllabus. I even embed them in our D2L with some widgets, or in our librarian group, the librarian who is embedded in our emails. I dedicate a specific day to sharing Computer Lab Day, momentum hacks, content on SiteFast, a bibliographical app, and TED Talks, so that we can explore with student choice speakers delivery with our online discussion board and one MLA paper using a works cited for the video. For anyone who is listening to this, watching this, you evaluators who might worry about my use of SiteFast specifically, I repeatedly share with our students that they need to do what each instructor asks, and I encourage the Learning Center for that second set of editing eyes or learning how to do an MLA works cited. Two other examples of iterate or building activities include that we share an exploration day for new presentation tech, in which the students find apps, softwares, and hardware to present in what I jokingly call our Kumbaya circle, at the whole class circle. And we often use Think, Pair, Share to evaluate exemplars so that we may realize elements and techniques and we can use that to create engaging and appealing messages for each of our specific speaking purposes. It's important to note that not every student succeeds in my course, and that that's only if they choose not to succeed. I believe I provide multiple methods of encouragement, reminders, and support, but some students work very hard at not attending or not completing enough of our little online assignments, and this hurts my heart for them, but this is reality. Finally, I believe in lifelong learning, and because communication reaches all fields of life, it's my joy to help students and even offer colleagues what they may want or need. Some of you have gotten a lot of emails with content from me, like, here's an example, what do you do? Being a community college communication instructor, I feel like the metaphorical kid in the candy store to be able to share and to learn from others in this gift of my continued educational journey.